Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this video. My name's Alex, and in today's class we'll be looking at the length of the spine, first starting with the stability of the pelvis so that we can elongate and then rotate the spine side to side, move it into some side bends, get it into some back bends, and then ultimately when we come down into our seated pose or into Shavasana at the end of class, you should feel a lot taller, a lot clearer, maybe more open and energized. So I hope you really enjoy this class, and if you do, please consider supporting this channel by hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and ringing the notification bell so that you know and never miss a class when I upload. So have an amazing class. Hope you feel good by the end of this. Let's get started standing. Start from just a standing position. Separate your feet out at hip distance. Lay your arms down by your sides. Let's just take a moment to drop into the practice. Energetically, just notice what's going on in your mind. If you're holding anything, any thoughts, any expectations. For 30 minutes, allow yourself an opportunity to let go any destination and simply become present with what is. And that in mind, release any expectations you might have over myself, yourself, this practice. Simply be open to experience your body in the present time. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And with an open mouth, sigh it out. Again, inhale. Gentle, audible exhale. Inhale deep. Let it go out. All right, reawaken your eyes. So today we'll be looking at the fundamentals of twists. Now, start by just gently moving your shoulders, moving your upper torso side to side. And there's two things you want to notice. One, as you rotate your spine, you might start to feel that rotation feels pretty good in the head and in the neck. But then also notice what's happening with your knees. Are your knees actually turning side to side? Okay. And that's okay if that's your intention, because the knees have that ability to rotate and so do the ankles. You have a lot of flexibility there. But when we're focusing just on rotation of the spine, let's stabilize the hips. Think of the pelvis like your working board or your work desk or workstation. And then from above the waistline, think of the spine like little discs stacked on top of each other, and imagine rotating one disc at a time. So part of your practice, let's turn to the right, is how you rotate your spine. It's what you're moving intentionally. And then the other part of the practice is what you're isolating in stability. So below the waist, you don't move at all. And then above the waist, you create your rotation. Now, that might not mean that you go as far, or that might mean you don't go as far into what you see when you rotate, but you're going to feel a lot more engagement through the obliques, and this is actually getting a lot more rotation into the spine. Okay. Conversely, let's let go of the hips, let them go into the twist. Now I can actually turn and almost face directly behind myself. So I'm going to come back to center, do the same thing to the other side. First, isolate from the waistband down, maintain stability. From the waistband up, one vertebra at a time, start to rotate to the left. And so you want to pay attention to the feeling of the feet, the feeling of the hips, and the feeling of the knees, creating that isolation, stillness below the waist, and motion above the waist. And just to see what the difference is, let go of the hips, allow the hips to rotate, and notice how much farther your head turns, not because your spine's rotating, but because now the hips and the knees are free. Okay, so there's no right and no wrong, but when we are isolating the spine, it's good to start with a stable base in the hips. All right, let's shake that out for a second and open up the sides of the waist. Inhale, float your arms high. Let's take thumbs together, hook your thumbs, fan your forefingers out nice and wide, and just start by elevating and depressing your shoulders. Go up and down, up and down, loosening up the shoulder joint. Brace your core, pull your front ribs, hip points into your navel, And then inhale, reach up and over to the right. Move the hips a little side to side. You can play with scooping the tailbone under, moving the tailbone back. So in the end, I encourage you to really explore, wiggle, fidget, and squirm your way for every little millimeter of space and just see how can you create this loving, compassionate conversation with the body, recognizing where it might be stuck, where it might be blocked, and just allowing it to open. Let's come back to center. Inhale, reach up and over to the left. Access your side body stretch. Root down into your heels. Wiggle your hips a little side to side. Wiggle the spine side to side. Elevate and depress the shoulders. Just give yourself that opportunity to access the deep side body bend, length on the left side waist as well as the right side. Okay, let's bring it back to center. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Point your elbow tips forward. Brace your core. Inhale, back bend. Press your head into your palms. Lift your chin slightly as long as there's no compression on the back of the neck. Put a little bit of a bend in your knees. Anytime you're moving the spine, actually you want to stabilize the pelvis. So here, as you get the hips to be heavy, press down into your feet. Create that rebounding lift into your back ribs. Feel this more as an opening into the chest and awaken the muscles along your back rib cage. Take a deep breath in, free the hands, sweep your arms high, and then exhale, hands to prayer, heart center. Let's slide the feet to touch, and then we'll go into that same action, but now instead of rotating from a complete standing pose, we'll rotate from chair. There's a different indication to let you know whether or not the hips are stable. Inhale, chair pose, bend your knees, sit down, reach your arms up. First, take your thighs, plug them back into your hips. When you look down, your knees should be equal, neither one in front of the other. And as you rotate, if your pelvis begins to rotate, one of your knees will begin to jut forward in front. So exhale, hands to prayer. Sit nice and low. Let's place the right hand on the top of the right thigh, push, and then from above the waist, twist to the right. From the side profile, imagine this diagonal line from your hips to the top of your head, and then start to rotate one disc at a time. If you want to touch your elbow to your thigh, make sure to sit really low into your legs. And if you're using elbow to thigh, push. Then take your right hand to your left hand, prayer position through the palms. Imagine pushing your right hand through your left forearm, using that right hand to leverage deeper into the twist. Move your head lightly side to side. Feel the space between your ears and shoulders. Inhale, mountain pose, free the legs. It's a lot, so hook your thumbs up above your head. Brace your core. Access the side body bend to the left. Inhale. So we get deep into the twist. That starts to engage the obliques, and now we're just countering the twist with a lot of space. If you're stagnant behind a desk, this is a really good exercise just to free the full range of the spine. Let's come back to center. Exhale, hands to prayer, feet together. Inhale, chair pose. Sit your hips down and back. Float your arms up. Shift your weight back equally between the heels and ball mounts. Left hand on the top of the left thigh, push. Tilt your hips forward, keeping your spine nice and long. It's at that diagonal line, top of the head all the way to the hips, and then twist right elbow towards the outside of the left thigh. Now, it's not required to touch your elbow to your thigh, only if it's accessible. The challenge is if you get too attached to touching, you might accidentally round your back. So focus more on the length of the spine and the feeling of the spine rotating. And if it's accessible, elbow to thigh, left hand to right hand, and you push. So you imagine pushing the left palm through the right arm, using that to leverage deeper into the twist. Feel your legs, feel those quads turn on. Inhale, mountain pose, unwind. Hook your thumbs up above your head, brace your core. Inhale, reach up and over to the right. First, we do that nice deep twist. Then we access the sideways bend. Counter, lengthening into the sides. from that deeply compressed or contracted position. Should feel so nice. Come up through center, breathe in. Exhale, sweep your hands behind your back, separate your feet out, hip to mat distance, nice stable base, palms together. Inhale, open your chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades in towards one another. Lift your heart. Tilt your chin down, brace your skull back, then start to straighten your arms. Breath in. Exhale, bend your knees, tilt your hips, chest expanding, forward bend. Shake your head loose. Shake it out, yes. Shake it out, no. Let the pelvis tilt forward so your spine spills onto your toes, onto the mat. And breathe. Let's slowly take hands down to the lower back. And then slide your hands to the fronts of your shins just below the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Push off of your shins. Use a little bit of arm strength to create this angle so that the length of the spine can move from the buttocks all the way to the top of the head. Lightly bring the chin in, look down, feel the length behind your neck. With your palms, spatially they don't move, but energetically pull upwards. Feel those back muscles engage. Breath in. Exhale, tabletop pose. Hands to the mat. Step your feet back, then lower your knees. A little bit of cat-cow just to loosen up the spine now that we've had it in those deep rotations. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, round and curl. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. And then for a few breaths, if you want to sway your hips side to side, circle the hips, circle the head, circle the shoulders and the neck. Just be intuitive within your body. No right nor wrong movements. There's just what you feel, how you move, connected to the way you breathe. Okay, let's come back into a neutral spine. Inhale, tuck your toes, hover your knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Pedal out through your legs. Little bend in the knees. Pull back with the ball mounds of your feet. Use that action of the feet dragging back to lift your tailbone up. Feel the space in your lower back build. Let's take a stability balance check. Push down into your feet and your right palm. Hover your left hand. You can keep the fingertips down, A. Or B, take the left hand, hover it completely off the mat, reach it in between your legs. C, you can take the left hand, grab the outside of the right calf, pull, and bend your left elbow. Drop your left shoulder down, twist to the right. If you're twisting, gaze up towards your right armpit. Push down and forward with your right hand. Slowly release. Left hand comes down to the mat. Recenter, bend both knees. Go up onto your right fingertips. Hover the right palm. Stay one, or A. B, reach the right arm through the legs. Or C, take the right hand, grab the outside of the left calf. Bend your left elbow, drop your shoulder down. Twist to the left. Feel out your breath. Slowly, hands come down to the mat. Inhale, float your right leg high. Exhale, knee to chest. Step between your hands. Low lunge. Left knee comes down to the mat. Untuck your back toes. Get on the top of the left toenails. Kick into the ground. So much so the left knee gets light. Maybe it even lifts completely from the mat. Maybe not. That could be a lot. And if this is a lot on the knee, take a pillow or a blanket, roll it up, put it underneath your knee. Brace your core and your glutes. Start to walk your hands back, upright your pelvis, and then upright your spine. Right hand stays on the ground. Left arm floats up. Inhale, pull up on the side of the waist. Then reach up and over to the right. Turn your chest slightly to the left. Should be feeling a nice, happy stretch coming up the left side of your pelvis and a little bit into the low belly. Inhale, return to center. Right hand on the right thigh. Exhale, twist, left elbow to the outside of the right leg. So with the left knee down, pelvis should be pretty stable here. Okay, you can challenge it in a moment by picking up the back knee, or you can stay and just work the twist. In fact, before we lift the back knee, let's bend the back knee, squeeze heel to butt. Lower your hips. So if bending your back knee made your hips lift, try to sink them down again. Okay, all of these are progressions. You can stop anywhere along this path if it starts to feel too harsh or the breath starts to feel blocked. Take your right arm, reach up, and then reach behind you, grab for either the ball mount of the left foot or the outside edge. Body's in a pretty deep rotation here. Check in with your head. Your eyes will always look for the horizon, which will sometimes compromise the space between the ears and shoulders. So move your head lightly side to side, equalize the length on the neck. Gently release your left toes. Take hands to the prayer position. Get into that deep twist. Tuck your back toes under. Start to lift your left knee off the mat. Straighten through your back leg. Anchor your right hip in. From the belly, twist. Turn your chin towards your right shoulder. Breath in. Exhale, release your hands down to the mat. Tee out your right arm in line with your right shoulder. And then inhale, twist again. Now it's a low lunge twist. Let's release the right hip. Roll to the outer edges of both your feet. Press outer edge of the right foot down. Let the right knee drop. Stay here. Breathe in. Start to lower your hips. Maybe reach your right arm back behind you. And then exhale, lift your hips, reach forward. Take one breath in. Exhale, release your hands to the mat, low lunge. Continue to spin your back foot down. Inhale, warrior two, rise with straight legs. So I know that right leg's probably feeling a lot. Give it some love, straighten it out, let it release for a moment. Check in with the angles of the feet. Back toes turn about 15 to 20 degrees forward. Right toes turn straight forward. Breath in. Exhale, bend into your right knee, warrior two. Put a light squeeze between your feet. We want to stabilize the pelvis and then elevate the spine. Left hand on the left waist. Inhale, reach up and over. Reverse warrior. Cycle your breath, noticing does the breath feel blocked, harsh, or stuck. Give yourself permission to dial things back. Come to a place where the breath flows through you. Inhale deep. Exhale, warrior two. Little shorter stance. Slide that back foot in 6 inches, maybe 8. Straighten your front knee-ish. Okay. Hold on to the waist. We'll go in a triangle pose. Quarter bend the right knee just to give the right hamstring a little bit of slack. The pelvis should have this ability to revolve, to rotate, or to gyrate. So play with that. You can calibrate your way in. Take the right thigh, pull it up into the right hip socket. Push into your left heel, keep the left glute on. As the pelvis finds this odd diagonal line, now right hand can go to the right top of the foot or shin. Left hand to the center of the chest, just to mark the rotation. Turn your belly, ribs, and chest away from the mat, and then left arm reaches up to the sky. Same thing with the head. The tendency is for the eyes to look for the horizon. Move your head a little side to side. Now, if you haven't yet, fully straighten your legs. Keep squeezing the feet towards each other. A lot of power through the legs, up through the hips, up through the spine, out through the arms. Should feel so nice. Inhale, slowly rise up. Parallel your feet to one another. Exhale, tilt your hips. Bow the length of the spine. Hands to the mat underneath your shoulders. Slide your feet as wide as you feel comfortable with, and you can keep your arches lifted. Little bend in the elbows. Press your palms down and forward. Scrub your heels back. Feel the rear sides of the legs engage. Put a quarter lift into your upper back and chest. Move your head in a little yes pattern. And then find a place to breathe. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen, go to fingertips. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pivot to point forward. Step your right foot back. Inhale, float your left leg up. Exhale, step your foot between your hands, low lunge. Okay, right knee comes down to the mat. Untuck your back toes. If you need to double pad the knee, go for it. Kick into the top of the right toenail, so much so the right knee begins to lift, or at least it just gets light. It doesn't have to completely come off the mat. Brace your core and your glutes to help move the tailbone under. Pelvis comes to an upright position. You feel the light stretch coming up the front of the right hip. Left hand stays along the left side waist on the mat. Right arm up. Inhale, reach up and over to the left. Slightly turn your chest to the right. Breathe into the front of your right hip. Slowly return to the upright position. Left hand on the top of the left thigh. Exhale, twist, right elbow to the outside of the left leg. Take a moment, play with the spine, move the hips. Find your length, top of the head away from the pelvis. When the spine is long, you won't have to force the twist. Stay here. Bend your right knee, squeeze your heel to your butt. Take the left arm, float up and around, grab either ball mount of the foot or outer edge of the foot. It's a pretty deep one. Your body's in a deep twist. You're also getting a big quad stretch, a hip flexor stretch. So as you build upon the sensations, do so with compassion. Go only as far as your breath still flows through you. Okay, let's slowly release the right foot. Tuck the back toes under. Then hands to the prayer position. Stay or lift up your back knee. Kick through your back leg. It's going to help you to create the straight line for your spine. The left hip will try to slide out. Hug your hip in. Create that solid wall in the left thigh so your elbow has something to push off of. Breath in. Exhale, gently release your hands down to the mat. Left arm reaches out to the side. Inhale, twist. Turn your belly, ribs, and chest, and then roll to the outer edges of the feet. So already a little release into that left inner hip, left inner groin. Flex the left toes back against the shin. Press through the outer edge of the left foot. Inhale, lower your hips, maybe reach the left arm back behind you. And then exhale, lift the hips, reach forward. Lengthen from the left fingertips to the right heel, breath in. Exhale, spin to the mat, low lunge. Continue the spin in your back foot, setting up your warrior two pose. Inhale, rise all the way to standing. Straighten your front leg, give it a lot of love. Set the position of the feet, back toes about 15 to 20 degrees forward, left toes straight forward. Breath in. Exhale, bend into your left knee. Stabilize the pelvis downward into the feet by squeezing your legs towards each other. Right hand on the right waist. Inhale, reverse warrior. Reach up and over the right hip. Move your breath through the ribs. Move your breath through the sides of your waist. Inhale deep. Exhale, warrior two. Straighten your front knee. Let's shorten the stance a little, 6 to 8 inches. Setting up your triangle pose. Soft bend in the left knee, just so you have some room to bend or extend the leg as you see fit. Paying close attention, sensitivity on the hamstring. Take the hands to your waist. Circle the hips just so you know you can adjust, you can calibrate. And then when you're ready, pull down on the waist, elongate your spine, exhale, triangle pose. Let your pelvis do the work. So the spine's job primarily is to just stay long and telescopic from the hips. Push down into your outer right heel, again, engaging your outer right glute. Push down into the left big toe, engaging left inner groin. Left hand on the top of the foot or the shin. Right arm floats up into the air. Put a light squeeze between the feet. Think of drawing the energy from the ground through the legs into the pelvis, then through the spine and out the fingers. You can rotate your gaze down at the ground or your left toes or up towards your right hand. Just check in with the feeling on your neck. Flex those quadriceps, pulling your kneecaps up into your thighs. Now send the breath through the body. Should feel so good. Stay light on the left hand. Inhale, rise all the way to standing. Parallel your feet. Sweep your arms wide. Open your palms, lift your chest, and then exhale, turn your thumbs down. Grab your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, squeeze your palms together. Take a deep breath in, open your heart. Exhale, bend your knees, tilt your pelvis. Feel the length of your spine. Let's lift the spine a couple times, quarter lift in. Feel those back muscles engage. And then exhale, roll your inner thighs back, tilt your pelvis, let the chest get closer to the mat. Inhale, quarter or halfway lift. Exhale, roll the inner thighs, tilt your hips. Now slide your hands to low back, then down, grab for outside edges of the feet, calves or shins, quarter lift your heart forward and out. Exhale, pull. Pull with your arms. Contract through your core. Hands under shoulders, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low lunge to the front, and then step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, slide forward, high plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, lower your chest, lower your chin. Untuck your toes, tops of the toenails press into the mat. No weight in the hands. Hover the palms, inhale, low cobra. As you gaze down, use your back muscles to lift. Roll your shoulders and your chest open. Imagine someone's lightly pressing on the back of your head. Oppose that pressure. Lift the back of your head up. Feel those muscles in the neck and the upper back engage. Exhale, release. Look to your right. Slide your arms down by your sides. Take a moment, wiggle out your hips. Floor bow, but first Shalabhasana. So this will be two poses connected through the transition. Keep your arms down by your sides, center your chin. Roll your shoulders and your chest open. Face your palms towards one another, thumbs point down. Lift your legs, lift your chest. Tilt your chin down, lift the back of your head up, and then bend your knees, squeeze your heels towards your butt. Reach back, so you don't have to catch the outside edges of the feet, don't force it, but if it's accessible, grab the ankles, grab the shins, grab the outside edges. And if you can grab, apply a light kick through the legs. As you kick, roll your shoulders against the kick. As the shoulders and chest engage to stabilize the pose, you can kick a little harder. And then slowly release. Look to your left, windshield wiper the legs, crisscross them. All right, let's take elbows underneath shoulders for Sphinx pose. Slide your right knee up towards your right elbow. Then straighten your arms, lift your elbows up off the mat. Take your left arm, thread it underneath. Land the left shoulder to the middle of the mat. Place your right hand on the center of your chest. Start to roll until both of your shoulders and shoulder blades are on the mat. And you may want to wiggle a little side to side. Once the right shoulder blade hits the ground, go post your arms, pick up your head, look to the right. Slowly roll back onto your belly. Slide your right leg back up onto your elbows for Sphinx pose. Other side. Left knee slides towards the left elbow. Palms push into the mat. Straighten your arms. Lift your chest. Take your right arm, thread it underneath. Land down to your right shoulder. Left hand to center chest. Start to rotate until both shoulder blades hit the mat. And then goalpost out your arms. Pick up your head, look to the left. From here, a little different. You're going to just stay on your back. Unravel the legs. So you're still down on your back. Hug your knees to your armpits. Happy baby pose. Start by rocking the knees forward and back so that your pelvis rocks slightly. You feel the hips anchor down, a little bit of length on the lower back. And then slide the hands either for the shins, the calves, or ultimately outside edges of the feet and pull. Root down through your shoulders. Root down through the back of your head. And give everything you have to your breath. You simply set the pose. And the pose is just a shell, it's just a shape. It's the breath that moves life through the body. So when the breath gets stuck, our energy gets stuck. When the breath is calm, stable, our energy becomes calm and stable. All right, hug your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs, forehead to knees. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, release your body. Final Shavasana, wiggle your hips, wiggle your shoulders, wiggle your head and your neck. So important to take a few moments at least. I recommend at least 2 minutes, bare minimum, but really 5 to 10 is ideal. I know we might not always have that kind of time, but when it comes to the benefits of the practice, it's like asking, would you take $20 in exchange for 5? Sometimes giving yourself 5 minutes in Shavasana helps to clear your mind so the rest of the day you're more efficient. And as you're more efficient, you get back time. Not only can you quantify it this way, but the quality of that time comes with it a state of deep connection, of presence, of mindfulness, and of intention. So take a deep breath in. And with a gentle sigh, let it go. So I'll leave you here in Shavasana. Please take your time. Consider this. I know with taking classes online, there's a tendency to not hold accountability in those final resting moments, but those are really the moments that pay off the most. So give yourself that opportunity to explore the deep conscious rest that Shavasana can bring, the way your entire practice absorbs in those final minutes. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, namaste.